Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It's Monday, September 28th. I'm Tori here with Al, and Lindsay joins us from home. Very quickly, I just want to say it is Yom Kippur of the Jewish holidays. It's the highest of all holidays, and we fast. We don't eat today, and we ask for atonement for anything we've done that have hurt you in the past year. So Al, Lindsay, the DBL Nation, my mother, if I've hurt you in the past year, I do atone for it, and I want to ask for forgiveness.
Okay, do I get to decide?
Yeah.
Okay, next commercial.
Okay.
You're supposed to just leave it there.
You're supposed to say amen and move on, dude. Terrible. Thank you, Lindsay.
Right.
Thank you, Lindsay. She knows. All right, well, let's get to the big story here. People have been dying to get their hands on the president's tax returns since before his election. And now, finally, we got him. The New York Times says they got nearly 2 decades worth, and they say he only paid, drumroll please, $750 in federal income taxes in both 2016 and 2017, and that he paid 0 income taxes at all in 10 of the past 15 years. Now, the president has said this is fake news yesterday. He called it fake news. Let's take a look at his response.
It's totally fake news, made up, fake. It's under audit. They've been under audit for a long time. The IRS does not treat me well. They treat me very badly. You have people in the IRS, they treat me very, very badly.
The Times also revealed that the president is about $421 million in debt, which much of it coming due soon. So DBL Nation, we always throw to you. We want to know what you think. Will the president's tax returns hurt him in the upcoming election, yes or no? We have, of course, our voting up. So just go to dblvote.com to weigh in. We'd love to hear your take. I got some comments already, Lindsay and Al. Lena from Twitter says, seriously, what a con. Trump lost my vote. Bearded says, it's a tax strategy. I'm not a Trump fan, but it means he is a great CPA. Chris says it's called gaming the system. And Chuck says, raise your hand if you paid more federal income tax than President Trump. Lindsay, where do you feel?
So on one hand, I don't think that everybody is going to be so surprised if he did pay $750 because a lot of millionaires, billionaires, and companies avoid taxes, and that's just how our laws are set up. So I'm not like taken aback. But I am going to say that if he's running on economic prosperity and being an astute businessman, to show that he has years of chronic losses in the New York Times is something that will be more alarming for people that say, oh, he's the guy that could turn around our economy and bring more money coming in and take us out of debt. So I think that that is the part that would hurt him more, to show that he's just drowning, from what it seems like from this report, in debt.
That's exactly what I was thinking too, is if he runs and I'm a great businessman, we see that he might be $400 million to almost over $1 billion in debt. We don't know to whom. We also know his strategy, Al, is to get money from his celebrity. Like, he got $430 million, right, from The Apprentice, and then he puts it out into golf courses that are risky, loses money, and then deducts it all on taxes. So is he just a con man?
You know, talking about the president is such a difficult thing on this show because, you know, he's so polarizing. So let's just talk about us.
Okay.
Last month, I sent a check to the IRS, the biggest one I've ever sent ever.
Yeah.
It had a comma in it and 2 numbers after that. And I think a lot of people are frustrated because whether he's the problem or not, I think the problem is that the rich avoid the things that regular folks have to pay, and it's not fair. Whether you a Trump supporter or not, I guarantee you paid a lot more in taxes than you probably would have liked to, and maybe more than you feel like you received in your life in terms of what you got back.
Right.
There's a documentary, and Lindsay, you know this is called Broke on ESPN, and it shows a lot of these young athletes, and everybody lampoons them like, oh, you had a contract for $50 million, now you're broke. You're so. First of all, these guys are in their early 20s. What would you have done with that kind of money?
Right.
But most of that time, they lose that money through taxes. So how come those guys can't set up shelters? Why does it only seem to work for certain people in the system? I do not get this, and no one can explain. Lindsay, you are 2 of the smartest women I know. Do you know anything about your taxes? I sure as heck don't. I don't know anything.
Well, I'm just saying, if he was legitimately drowning in debt and kept the lights on and kept thousands of people employed. There's a whole other side to that, right? Why you would get that type of refund is because you're keeping tons of people working in our economy going, which is why they save people and businesses like that. But I do think that when you think about like nurses and firefighters and doctors that paid more taxes than somebody that's a millionaire, that's when you get those voters that are in the swing states that are probably going to do some of those blue collar jobs and be stressed out by the idea of them paying more than their president.
Yes, I think it's exactly those people in the Rust Belt, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio, who are paying commas in their tax refunds.
Those people are subsidizing the people that aren't paying taxes.
I think the Trump Hotel is basically a subsidized living because of what happened. I also just want to read finally to end here. The New York Times says ultimately Mr. Trump has been more successful playing a business mogul on The Apprentice than actually being one in real life. And I think that says a lot. Let's go to our megaphone. 63% of you say it will hurt him in the election, and 37% of you say no, which is right that base, right? His base is always around 36 to 38%. So write us in with more details. Great conversation.
And I want to hear what the Trump people have to say. Like, Jenny, I'm not going to attack. I want to see how they not spend this, but take this information.
And do you think he'll work for you with this information? Absolutely, write us in. Speaking of which, I expect Joe Biden may really go after the president about his taxes at the first debate tomorrow night. Meantime, the president, you might have heard, is demanding a drug test for Biden ahead of the debate, saying that he's been erratic and only drugs could have caused it. So the question is, will the president be attacked for his taxes? Do you think the president will go after Biden's mental health tomorrow? My take on this, and I want to get your take, Linz, on this, is if you keep saying Joe Biden's on performance-enhancing drugs, you're only saying he's doing really well. Why keep pushing this narrative that he's doing really well? And also, if he asks for that, can't Biden ask for a psychological evaluation before the debate?
I just think this is already getting like a boxing match before it started. I like to read all the dramas and unauthorized biographies about presidents and things like that. But like this tomorrow is going to be so drama filled. It's insane. Like already asking for a drug test. And, I think tomorrow is going to be a really big win and a really big loss for either candidate. And we'll see what's going to happen, because I think tomorrow is going to set the tone for how low we're going to go.
Yeah.
And we've even seen like with conversations this week from after President Trump asked Biden for the drug test, Joe Biden responded with a pretty snarky response. So, I think that he might meet him there. And so, I don't know, tomorrow is just going to be insane. And I want them to get past maybe like the taxes and the drug test. And I want them to really talk about things like the Platinum Plan that President Trump had alluded to this weekend that is supposed to help African Americans and people of color in this country, and exactly what that will entail, and how Joe Biden is going to conquer that and maybe do something that's better and offer it to people of color. Because I think, and I've been saying this, a pressing issue for me in this election is how people of color are going to be treated properly, get social justice, and things that we've been asking for, especially when it comes down to police reform.
And I think that'll be such a major topic at the debates, and I think they'll both be prepared. Someone just said, get your popcorn ready. It is going to be big. Mary Trump says, just so you know, if you want to get under his skin, just call him Donald. So we'll see if Joe Biden takes that advice. I want to get Al's take on this. One topic that is sure to be hotly debated tomorrow night, the president's nomination to the Supreme Court. Judge Amy Coney Barrett. She is a mom of 7, including 2 children that were adopted from Haiti. Her youngest son, Benjamin, also has Down syndrome, and she could be the first mother of school-aged children to sit on the Supreme Court. She's 47, I believe.
I think so.
Very young. So a lot of people are also talking about her personal faith. She is a devout Catholic, and some wonder if her personal beliefs she's 48 years old, will affect her decisions on the court. Al, I want to go to you, but I also want to preface it that Gorsuch is Catholic, Joe Biden is Catholic, Nancy Pelosi is Catholic, Kavanaugh, I believe, is Catholic. Why do we only talk about her being Catholic affecting her opinions on the court?
Well, I think we're talking about her, Tori, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that she will be a swing vote in terms of whether we become more of a conservative society or more of a liberal one, or kind of stay the course where we are. And so I do think it comes into play. And the issue that I have with this entire situation with the Supreme Court is one person's personal beliefs could come to affect everybody. And think about this on just a local level, Lindsay, and I want to get your opinion quickly. If I decide to put Christmas lights up year-round, that's my decision at my home. But if I run the city, now everybody has to do that. So my personal decision is now going to affect how your home looks and proceeds forward. So what do you think, really quickly? I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, like, personal affiliations should not be what you're looking at. It's the Constitution to make laws. And so I really would hope that if somebody's getting this honor to be on the Supreme Court, which is a lifelong commitment, that they would take it seriously and really, you know, it looks like it's going to go through in the Senate regardless. So I think that if she's getting this opportunity, it wouldn't just be this biased and pressing from groups that are asking her to do different things, and she would do her job how she's supposed to.
Yeah, I think Roe v. Wade is up for grabs right now, and I think that's what most people are interested in. Lindsay, stick around. Coming up on DBL, one man's online reviews could actually send him to jail. Why you might want to think twice the next time you post something about a business. And as we go to break, check out our studio. Most of our coworkers, they're still committed to getting COVID under control. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. I'm just trying to put my cocoa in the cup holder.
Oh, we had a whole commercial break for that. Why would you do it then? That'd be silly.
Because timing is my forefront. Welcome back to DBL. How much do you read and trust online reviews? I do, and I write them.
I do. I just started.
Well, an American man is facing 2 years in a Thai jail. It's all over negative online reviews he left. Okay, tell the story here. The man posted reviews like this, saying staff at a Thai resort were very rude and told folks to, quote, avoid it as if it were the coronavirus. The hotel, the Sea View Resort, sought legal action after what it says were repeated and made up online reviews which painted the resort in a false light. So the question is, do you read online reviews and how much do you trust them? I don't go anywhere, I don't eat anywhere, I don't go on a drive anywhere without looking at so many reviews, and I mostly look at 3 stars. Al, what do you think?
I liked your technique, and for anybody, Tori, I don't think she told the audience. Lindsay, I started going with what Tori said. She looks at the 3-star reviews, not the 1 or the 5. The 3s are usually like normal people that are at least, I like this and I didn't like this. Really quickly, and here's my opinion on this. This is very serious to me because a lot of my friends that are comedians also go and speak on different podcasts. And if they say something that somebody doesn't like or a large group of people don't like, those people will go through and 1-star review their album, which pushes them down on iTunes and makes it harder for people to find their album. So you can financially affect somebody like that. And I don't like that, Lindsay.
Well, what about defamation? What if you can call it defamation? Go ahead, Linz.
No, I think that if I get upset enough, then I would write that review, but I hate that people are just making stuff up. So I usually read the 5-star and then the 1-star. And so if it's really bad, I'm like, man, what did they do? Because I'm thinking maybe it's somebody like me who they really got upset. But maybe if it's good, then it's good. I think that's another strategy from those 3, but I hope people wouldn't just be going on there lying, because that's could really ruin people's business.
I also look for people who have pictures, because they are really taking the time and they're really into it. And I do that too, because I have no life. I have no life, and I take
And there is
pictures.
A dog barking?
Is Jiggly
Lindsay
barking?
running
That is
an
my
animal
dog. He's going
crisis
crazy.
center
My
back
dog,
there?
he never barks, and he's
Jiggly.
going crazy
Oh, my
right now.
goodness.
We
I
love you,
can't.
Jiggly. We love you, Jiggly. Coming up on DBL.
Lovely.
We've got Tiger King fever. What really happened to Carol Baskin's former husband? We'll never stop talking about it. A retired cop's search for answers coming up next. Jiggly.
Soul and a mind, I've learned from them. But Carol Baskin keeps saying, I can't have these tigers.
If he ever had an enemy in his life, it was Carol Baskin.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens, it's Carol at Big Cat Rescue.
Carol is the Mother Teresa of cats.
We will end the private possession of these cats.
This is my way of living, and nobody's gonna tell me any otherwise.
Welcome back to DBL. Is Joe Exotic innocent? Are Carol Baskin's hands dirty? That's what investigator Jim Rathman hopes to find out in a new show, Joe Exotic, Tigers, Lies, and Cover Up. Stephanie caught up with Jim earlier in today's DBL Spotlight.
Jim Rathman, welcome to Daily Blast Live. I am so excited to talk to you today. So, Jim, obviously you've seen Tiger King. I mean, there's possibly no one in the world that actually hasn't. So I want to know what has fascinated you so much about Joe and Carol's feud.
Yeah, you know, much like everybody else, back when the pandemic started in the early part of spring, I was captivated by everything I was watching on television in regards to that docuseries. But what really drew me in is that there is a family, which is Don Lewis's family. He has 3 beautiful daughters, you know, and they want to know what happened to their father. And, you know, I have a unique skill set. I believe I can help out to find some of those answers and provide them that closure. They haven't had that in 23 years.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, darling. And I want to actually ask you as well about Joe Exotic. So he's been very outspoken, hasn't he, about getting a pardon from President Trump, and his closest friends are working really hard to get him released. So how would you personally react if he did get out early?
Well, you know, he's been very outspoken of the fact that he did not do a murder for hire plot. He believes he was set up. And as an investigator, we've been trying to uncover everything we can to provide that to Team Tiger. Team Tiger is his legal team that he has there in Texas. They've been working around the clock to go through that information and to get things set up, whether for a presidential pardon or for an appeal or even a new trial altogether. So, I believe that information will eventually come to light, and, if all goes well, Joe will walk out of that prison at some time or another.
Oh, okay. Well, right, let's get on to the juicy stuff. So the disappearance of Carol Baskin's ex-husband, Don Lewis, it's captivated the nation. So I want to know, what about the disappearance raised some questions for you?
Well, there's a lot of things. I mean, Don Lewis was very dependable, and when you talk to those that work with him, his work associates, everybody that knew him, his family, he was extremely responsive of a person. So if he got a page, if he got a call and it was regarding business, he was always available. Same thing when he traveled internationally. He always knew to check in and had a specific time that he would do so. So the fact that he just up and disappeared without a trace, without using any of his money, leaving his animals behind, and not even saying anything to his family is extremely suspicious and raised a lot of red flags. It should have raised more flags back in 1997.
I mean, it seems like no one can agree. Did Don actually disappear, or did Carol Baskin maybe have something to do with it? I want to know, what do you believe? Do you think Carol Baskin is innocent?
Well, Sheriff Chad Chronister, who's the sheriff of Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, has come out and stated publicly that foul play is involved with Don's disappearance, and that's exactly where I stand on this. There was some sort of foul play involved. Now, Carol, there's a lot of unanswered questions that Carol could easily answer for us all. She could have a valid explanation for why there was suspicious property transactions, or for why her actions were the way they were back in 1997. But she's not willing to talk, so it's leaving everybody in suspense, which, of course, makes it look quite suspicious.
There's no way that I can finally say, see, I didn't do it. I can't do it.
Jim, thank you so much for chatting with us. I think it's awesome. Be sure everyone at home to watch Joe Exotic, Tiger's Lies and Cover Up on Investigation Discovery, and we'll be right back.
This is a Smile Direct
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for some sweet, sweet deals.
Yeah, it is.
Earlier, Steph showed me some amazing products at even better prices. Here's today's DBL Deal Blast presented by MorningSave.com. All right, what do you have for us today, Stephanie?
This ReadyVac Surge Canister Vacuum comes with a powerful ultra-quiet motor. The washable filter traps 99% of allergens, and it rolls on the floor super easily. Normally, this is $100, but we've got it for $59. So that means you're saving 41%.
That's amazing, and great time for like a fall cleaning.
So next, it's the Bravin BRV 105 rugged portable Bluetooth speaker. So it's very small. It's got a waterproof design. It has 8 hours of listening time in one charge. Now, normally this is $50, but we've got it for $22, saving 56%.
Yes. And I love that it's waterproof.
Now, Tori, this is the Hair Styler Automatic 360 Spin Styler, and it's amazing because it creates salon quality curls and waves at just like the push of a button. So it gently guides and twirls your hair to perfection whilst locking in voluminous curls. Now, normally this is $80.
Ooh, pricey.
We've got it for $29, which means our viewers are saving 64%.
Love that.
Last, Tori, but certainly not least, it's the Revival 6-piece, zero twist, 100% Egyptian cotton towel set. And each set includes 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. Now, normally this set is $89, and we've got it for $39, which means you're saving 56%.
Ooh.
Very soft, luxurious.
Wrap me up in one of those, sold. Everyone, head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices. You can even visit morningsave.com on your smartphone. Steph, thank you so much. You're amazing. All right, well, we got a lot of comments. Lizzie wrote us an email. Why aren't you pissed that Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and other billionaires do not pay their fair share of taxes?
That's what I literally said.
You not only said that Bill Gates does pay up to about $10 billion in taxes at some point, but Jeff Bezos, we do argue, should pay more taxes. And just so you know, President Trump's haircuts he put off cost him $70,000 he deducted. DBL's new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.